Hi, this is Chris, and we have launched this new webisode series, if you will, called Catching Up with Chris. And once a week, you'll receive now in your inbox, if this is coming to you via our database or on Facebook, you'll receive the message, wherever it is. You'll get the message wherever you need it. But it's what we're going to do is we're going to take some time out here, one time a week, to share some responses to some of the questions, the overwhelming amount of questions that we get coming into the office. So we have a lot of people that will either call in with questions directly for me, like, hey, can I talk to Chris? And Chris is usually somewhere on the other side of the globe. Or emails will come in with questions, or I get a ton of Facebook questions too. And by the way, if you're not in the social media, in the social world interacting with us there, please, by all means, do go there. We've got a fan page on Facebook on, it's the Academy of Wealth and Achievement. That's our fan page. We've got the Christopher Howard fan page, and if there's any room on my friend page, I'll squeeze you in there too if I can. But by all means, interact with us there as we're moving into the future. You know, it's been said that the fortunes of tomorrow will be made in the trends that I'll try to say that again in the trends that ride the waves of economic development. I've said that so many times you'd think I'd have it better. But in any case, when you look at the trends today of economic development, you look online, there's so much happening in social media and how we're able to communicate with one another. I'm very, very excited by all of this because it enables us to help to spread the gift of transformation all over the planet. You know, for the last 15 years, I've been teaching seminars all over the world, trained thousands and thousands and thousands of people. This is your first time getting to know me. Hello, welcome. I hope we have a long-lasting friendship. If we've known each other forever and perhaps we haven't seen each other for a little while, hello, it's good to see you again. And it's always good to see old friends and family or invite new people into the fold. Been traveling as I have, I'll go from city to city and maybe I won't see somebody for a year or 2 years or 3 years that's a good customer, a client, or a student of ours. Of course, we've got the university with the Academy of Wealth and Achievement. Recently changed, a new name change. It was Christopher Howard Training. Now it's the Academy of Wealth and Achievement because I figured we could do so much more by bringing you the best of many speakers, thought leaders, luminaries, people who can really help to deliver the goods in terms of helping you make your life better. You know, for me, I've always wanted to be Superman. For little boys when they're kids, it's actually a real possibility, to be Superman one day. And we're doing a whole lot of good. And in a metaphorical sense, I think I've kind of followed that path. However, I realized that we could do a lot more with the Super Friends. And so every week, a lot of the information that I'll be bringing to you and catching up with Chris maybe come from conversations with some of my friends in the Academy of Wealth and Achievement, some of the other master teachers or instructors that are out there, and I'll be looking to not only share the best of information that I pick up during that week, or maybe just share a little bit of what's happening with us, answer some questions that are coming in, or share some information that comes from some of our great friends. And if you haven't been to the new website yet, do check it out. It's wealthandachievement.com. Once again, www.wealthandachievement.com. So check that new website out. That's got awesome information on there. If you have yet to begin interacting with us on Facebook and the social networks, please do. We'd love to see you on there, and that's where we can communicate with people most. This is an episode where we're actually going to today take a look at some questions that people have sent in. These are questions that we hand-selected because I think a lot of people have similar questions as these two, and it's a good question theme. So let's take a look at it. First question is, and God knows how these come in. Like I said, people interact with us through multiple methods, via the social media, calling straight to our office. But these came from someplace around the world. So maybe you can relate. Now, this may even be your question. How can I live, question number one, how can I live in a wealth mindset when circumstances and situations around me are more poverty than wealth? That's one of the biggest questions I had at one point in my life. And thank God I don't have that today. And by the way, it doesn't mean that I don't have tough circumstances today, but I'm very, very anchored into the mindset That's the same mindset that helped Richard Branson create a $4 billion empire. Same mindset that helped Donald Trump to do the same, or helped Oprah Winfrey have the #1 talk show in television history. So what is that mindset? How can you get it in brief? For me, I'm going to recommend 2 books to you, and neither of them are my own. I do recommend my own books, by the way, but I had a good friend at one point when I was at the lowest of low. I thought for sure I was going to have to declare bankruptcy. Good friend offered me one book, and it was called The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity by Catherine Ponder, like Ponder the Thought. It's spelled Ponder. And I read that book, and it was a beautiful book. It's a book of spiritual reframes on wealth. And it really caused me to begin to think differently about wealth and to begin to think differently about having riches or having money. And, you know, this is at a time where my diet consisted of top ramen and macaroni and cheese, more often top ramen than not, because the mac and cheese, you needed to buy butter and milk. So I'm serious. It was like I was not eating. I was. I think in fact, I know what I ended up doing was I thought I was going to have to declare bankruptcy, and I called my stepfather, and he said, "There's no way you're going to do that." And instead, you know, there's no harm, no foul if somebody's been in that place where they've declared bankruptcy, because you know, there's no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. But at that time, he gave me some feedback that caused me to do, instead, I did some credit consumer counseling and, you know, consolidated all my debt and screwed up my credit for a while. And during that period of time, this must have been 15, almost 20 years ago now, I guess. My math's getting worse in my old age. But in any case, during that period of time, I got this book, the Dynamic Laws of Prosperity, and that really made a difference. It's, you know, she talks about thinking about focusing on everything that you have rather than everything that you don't. Living in an attitude of gratitude. These are all the building blocks that make up a mindset of wealth. I want you to recognize one thing, and that is that people that are rich, being rich can happen in the flash of an eye, because it's a state of mind, it's a state of emotion. So that happens the moment you choose to focus on those things that you're grateful for in your life that you do have rather than you don't have. That can happen in an instant, the moment that you realize that you are your wealth. Wealth is not a number out in front of you. You are your wealth. A lot of people say, pay me more and then I'll work harder, but it doesn't work that way. Is once you become the person who's worth more, you'll then be paid more. So you are your own greatest investment, and an investment in yourself is directly an investment in your wealth. The reason why Richard Branson makes as much as he does and commands the kind of money he does, for example, you know, to get him for a stage performance, it's $200,000. Why? Because he commands it. He's become the person who's worth $200,000, and people pay that. So investing in yourself is an investment in your wealth. Keep that rich mindset. Realize that to have a rich life means that you appreciate that which is around you, that which you have right now. And what we appreciate appreciates in our life. It grows, it expands. So focus on what you have rather than on what you don't. And then always invest in your entrepreneurial mind to go out and create the resources wherever they are. People think that money is a barrier between them and their goals, and it's not. It's creativity, and it's a lack of knowledge, because there's so much money out there that can help you make your dreams come true. You just got to, you know, tap into it and get creative. That's answer number one. Here's the second question now. How can I be realistic and optimistic when I'm feeling dragged down by negative financial circumstances? I think the same thing applies. You know, when we talk about the attitude, that's the first thing to get. Get that book, The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. Great book. A second book that I also recommend is called You Can Have It All. And the book is written by Arnold Patent. And it was the same friend that recommended both of those books. And that made a big difference for me at that time of my life as well. However, what really changed everything for me was when I began to go out and model billionaires. And my dear friend Robert Allen, who wrote The 1 Minute Millionaire with Mark Victor Hansen, came to me one day and he said, "Chris, this is your thing, you know, the billionaire thing." He says, "Nobody does that. And with the psychology like you've got, with your background from NLP." And it's really true. This has been my area of emphasis for probably, well, at least 10 years now. right? So I looked at the billionaire mindset, whether it be Warren Buffett or Bill Gates, broke it down and said, how can you replicate their thinking? And I've used hypnotic processes to install it myself, designed trainings on that. And the thing that made all things change for me, made most of my financial issues disappear. And when I say issues, I'm talking about the issues in our mind. Remember, all of our problems are problems of imagination. All of our solutions are solutions of imagination. So the biggest thing that changed my world in the flash of an eye was thinking about the fact that I knew that Bill Gates was going to give away his fortune upon his death in the form of a charitable foundation. And knowing that, a lot of the spiritual beliefs around should I have money or should I not have money, all that stuff began to disappear. I also began to work on developing my entrepreneurial mind, and I think that's vital. If you want to have massive wealth and you want to be the best, then you got to work a little harder than all the rest at developing your entrepreneurial mindset. And that's what we teach you at the Academy of Wealth and Achievement. And once again, if you haven't checked out our new site, do check that out. That's at www.wealthandachievement.com. But it's about developing that entrepreneurial mindset, because you know that whenever you hit a challenge, you have two options. You can either shrink and grow small, or you can learn your way out. And what I've always decided to do was learn my way out. So no matter how big the crisis in front of you, and by God knows we've all had huge crises, no matter how big the crisis, always determine yourself that you're not going to shrink because of that crisis. Instead, you're going to learn your way out. And if you do that, you'll be able to keep going when you have financial circumstances that aren't exactly the way that you want. Remember, it's not the hand that you're dealt, it's how you play that hand. Warren Buffett says it this way. He says, the tide comes in, the tide goes out. When the tide goes out, you get to see who's been swimming naked. So if you've got good business practices and you've got a great polished and refined entrepreneurial mindset, there's nothing that's going to drag you down. You're going to always wind up on top. Expect to get one of these in your box once a week, so make sure you whitelist us, I think that's what they call it, so that the emails come right in. And we'll be answering a question once a week. So until we see you next week, this has been Catching Up with Chris, and we'll see you soon.